Absolutely awesome bit of kit. Hi, it's Todd from Todd's Workshop and Todd Cutler here, and we are talking belt grinders, belt lynchers, these things here, knife grinding machinery. For freehand knife grinding, not sort of like industrial CNC type stuff. So this is all where I do my freehand work. I don't have any CNC stuff. Now I used to do all my work on angle grinders, and you can make perfectly good, perfectly serviceable knives with an angle grinder. But the problem is it's really difficult to get them good. It's difficult to do complicated things. They're very one-trick pony in grinding a knife. These things will do all manner of stuff that you couldn't even dream of if angle grinders were your only thing. Now I bought this about 18 years ago, and it's actually a friend of mine, Owen, who said, oh, there's a guy on a website at the time, British Blades, he's wanting to make a knife grinder for somebody. He wants to get into doing it, hasn't made one before, looking for a customer. And I wanted one, and so I saw him, and he made this. Now, it was one of those classic things that he was a really good engineer, the guy who made this. And it was made for scratch, just as a one-off piece. And he tried to make the best belt grinder that he possibly could with every feature that he could think of and done with the best materials and so on. And then he was going to sell it. And he sold it to me. And I think after that, he suddenly realised that there is no way on the planet that he could sell them for the money that he sold them to me. And so I have ended up with, as far as I'm concerned, just the best belt grinder that I've ever had. Everything that I've used has come second to this. It's just indestructible. So it is 18 years old now, something like that. I've changed bearings, of course. I think I might have changed the motor once. Other than that, I mean, this thing's bomb-proof, bulletproof. Very little vibration relatively, and part of that is all of this structure is solid. So that is, what's that, 40mm square solid steel bar. Can be a little bit weighty to shift around, but there's no vibration. There's no flex in the system. It's just absolutely brilliant. So that's my lovely belt grinder. But it came, when I bought it, with just a flat platen here. I don't know how much you can feel here, but of course I use it a lot. Oh, there you go. And you can see the wear on that platen. So it's time for me to replace it again. There are reasons, sometimes that's not so bad, but generally speaking it's a little bit annoying. So it's time for that to change. But again, actually, when I had this made for me, he didn't have the contacts for proper rubber contact wheels, nor did I. It was a long time ago in my world. So in fact, what we put on there was a lorry or tractor radiator hose. And it is, 18 years later, still there, still working. Just amazing. It's looking like it might need a new life at some point. So, we have this, and this is for all you belt grinder manufacturers out there. I'm not interested in bolting on a little table. I'm not interested in doing little funny fancy things. This one has got a second socket there where you can put in whatever it is you want. And it is just the best system, right? So I want a nice table in there. I don't have to bolt anything on. It's in there already. This one has got sort of index systems on here, so you can move it a few degrees and it locks in. So over-engineered in many ways. But it means that you can adjust that table up and down. So that's great. So you've got the table. And of course, those are some of the features that I use most of all. And they're great. But I'm just going to show you some of the other arms that I've got. First one is a homemade one that I did. This system here wasn't invented by myself, but they're not commercially available, or not that I knew. Now, any contact wheel or any grinding belt works on pressure. And so the higher the pressure you can do, the faster it's going to cut. Sometimes you want that, sometimes you don't. But when you're roughing stuff out, a lot of pressure is really good. So pressure means not a big flat platen, but if you can get it on a small wheel, then it's going to take material away much faster. So what I'm doing here is I'm just putting the sword blade on this roller and just dragging it up the wheel there. You will not get a great finish, but what you will get is a hogging off of material really fast. So this is an 80 grit belt. I'll run it with a 36 or a 24. But by doing that, you can start here, and then the next cut you do it a little bit less, next cut less. You'll put a distal taper into this bit of steel really fast. Works brilliantly. So if you've got one of these things, go and make that. You might be worried about it trapping and dragging your hand in there. It's a reasonable worry. It doesn't feel like it wants to. There's definitely an optimum distance here. I would not run it like that because then I think there is a danger of exactly that. But if you have a bit of a distance there, it doesn't seem to want to pull you in. It's a little counterintuitive because, of course, when you use a machinery, the last thing you want is a gap that you can get a body part into. This doesn't seem to quite work like that, but, you know, exercise caution. I'm not telling you to go and make one and then sue me for it. I'm saying this works brilliantly for me. Little finger wheels here. Now, I am desperately trying to remember who this comes from. I think... Oh, so the Knifeworks. Oh, God. Somebody out there will know it. I cannot remember who I bought this from. But if you look up finger wheels for grinders, pretty much everything that you come up with has got a big bearing here and here. And on the small stuff, it's great if you're going in with your blade like this, but it restricts you. You can't do fullers with it. You can't do all sorts of other things. This is the only manufacturer that I have forgotten the name of. Sorry, whoever you are, but let me know. This is the only manufacturer I've come up with these small skinny wheels where the bearing is actually smaller than the diameter of the wheel. They're brilliant. They're absolutely brilliant. So I've had one set which I've been running for, I don't know, 15 years or something, still going, and then I bought some additional ones. So they're really good. You've got to be careful with them. You run them at a slightly slower speed, but they are just fantastic. So I would really recommend these. That's an interchangeable system, so you can put different size wheels in. So that's great. And then another one, which again is too far back in the mists of time for me to remember where it came from. Does it say? No. But again, this came from the US. Probably, oh, I nearly remembered who it is. Somebody Knifeworks is the little finger wheels. I can't think of the name. This one, I don't know who I got it from, at KMG or somebody like that, one of the big names. But it's a flexible platen. And so what this means is it doesn't cut so fast as a flat steel platen. But you've got basically a timing belt there, industrial timing belt. And you can push against that because it's hard. And it gives you a slight curve. And that can be a real advantage on things like axes, the end of sword blades, the tips of sword blades. It's quite good for sort of blending and hiding. You know, if you've got a blade that's hanging out here, it's very difficult to grind the tip exactly and precisely. You get a nice sort of blending and disguising almost by using this, where you still end up with a product that looks good, but it just makes it much easier to grind the tip of the blades. Some jobs like lenticular sword blades, really brilliant for axe ends, axe edges, that sort of thing. So the flexible platen is great. But as you notice, you've got different setups here. So the curvature that you get on that section is going to be different to the curvature on that section or on that section because of the length of the belt. So again, you can just spin that round into the different positions and it just works absolutely brilliantly. And then the last one I'm going to show you is my big setup. So all of those are either bought or homemade, and this is another homemade one, but it's absolutely fine. And so that's got a 4-inch wheel on it, but again I can change that up to 8-inch wheels, 6 or 8-inch wheels. And it's absolutely brilliant again. So for the larger hollow grinding, nice and solid, and it's actually cheap because the pillow block bearings are really cheap, and the rest of this was done on tube. So I only paid for the wheel really. That's it, brilliant. So I think I better show you a little bit of this in action so you can demonstrate, I can demonstrate each bit of it. You see it cutting here and here. putting the curve onto the piece. Chomping away quickly. So altogether, my belt grinder, absolutely awesome bit of kit.